Welcome to Author Speak, an initiative by Books Etc., the literary gift store. I am Swapna Liddle and I am a historian, an author, and today I'm here to talk about my book, Connaught Place and the Making of New Delhi. Like many of you, my life lockdown routine is a different one from normal times. I'm getting more time to do writing, so I've been writing a lot more. I've been reading a bit, and I'm also trying to reach out through social media, talking about history to a larger audience. So this is something which I am enjoying doing. To talk a little bit about my book, why the book was written, it's actually a sequel or a book that goes with another book that I wrote, which was an old Delhi or Shahjahanabad, called Chandni Chowk, the Mughal city of Old Delhi. And the idea behind writing these two books was to talk about the two historic cities of Delhi and their significance in the history of India. And but they are not very heavy history books. These are entertaining books, which somebody who does not have a lot of knowledge of history would also enjoy reading. It did not take me very long to write the book. Like most authors, I am writing the book while I'm doing a lot of other things as well. Very few of us are full-time authors, of course. So it took me about a year to research and write the book. I had a great time doing it because I love historical research and I enjoy writing as well. If one were to think about, it's a process that I enjoy. It's going out, sitting in the archives, looking at original sources, going to libraries, reading a lot of books, and then the process of actually putting it down together. And my aim is to make a story, a narrative which people will enjoy. So it's always that is a process that is very important for me, and it always helps when you have good editors who help you actually make the book a really finished product. Of course, the whole process of discovering and making new discoveries in the archives is an exciting one all the time. Sometimes it's very mundane things also. But in this particular book, I really enjoyed some of the things I discovered. Without giving away too many spoilers, one of the things I discovered was that it is probably likely that it was a clerical error which led to the naming of Pandara Road and what it might have actually been intended to be. So I thought that was a very amusing, it was an amusing discovery. I loved putting it into the book. I still get a lot of feedback about that particular anecdote, and people tell me that it was something that was a revelation to them, and they enjoy talking about it, telling other people about it. So I will leave you to discover that particular anecdote when hopefully you go through this book. I think I'd like to read a little bit from the book so you can get a flavor of the kind of writing. And one paragraph that I'd like to take up is about the clubs and the social life of New Delhi when after it was inaugurated. And this was a city, of course. Initially New Delhi was it was built for a very elite British administrative class. You will see what this paragraph is. The same social set that frequented the clubs patronized the Delhi racecourse, which began its operations in 1926-27. Maurice de Cobra, the French writer, visited Delhi soon after the racecourse became operational and wrote of the scene tongue-in-cheek, quote, 2 o'clock, The avenue which leads to the polo grounds at Delhi is thronged with sports cars and Rolls Royces. Glittering in the sun, the Maharaja of Alwar's car passes. A limousine, whose body is all aluminium, shimmers like a mirror. The buffaloes, when they see this meteor pass, are astonished in spite of everything and cease chewing the cud for some seconds. Close quotes. The contrast between the sophistication of the racecourse and the rural touch provided by the cattle that still roamed the city streets was stark. So I've tried to use a lot of extracts and quotes from original sources also to give a proper flavor of how people perceived the city. I'm going to read another section which, according to me, is actually quite important because the end of my story, the end of the story of New Delhi, I've tried to link with the present and future of this very historic area of New Delhi, within Delhi. So this is how I really speculated and contemplated in the conclusion of this, the future of New Delhi in this concluding chapter. Connaught Place, or for that matter New Delhi as a whole, have come a long way from the days of the British Raj. Contrary to what one might imagine, they are not places for those essentially seeking nostalgia. They have been reimagined to serve the needs of a democratic state and for an Indian people. That is what gives them continued relevance in the 21st century and for new generations. There is much to celebrate in New Delhi, even if one is not lucky enough to live there. The significant number of large trees provide a crucial green lung in the middle of a city that is suffering from dangerous levels of air pollution. Its institutional, commercial, and public spaces are immensely popular among visitors from all parts of the city. For those who are sensitive to heritage, New Delhi represents the last in the series of capital cities built in Delhi. It stands for an important era in the world's history. This was when the British Empire felt the need to reinvent itself, and to do so, it drew upon the traditions of the great Indian empires, such as the Mughal. Not only does the main avenue of New Delhi align Government House with Purana Killa, it lies parallel to the main ceremonial avenue of Shahjahanabad, the street we today call Chandni Chowk. The town plan of New Delhi also has certain unique features, such as the system of radial roads leading out from the roundabouts. This and more in the book. What else have I been doing? I have been reading quite a bit. I would definitely recommend one of the things that I have spent a lot of time on this during the last few weeks, the letters of Mirza Ghalib, arguably one of the greatest poets of all time. And I have been reading his letters in Urdu, and I've been reading the Urdu, the edition, the 5-volume edition edited by Khali Kanjum. But those who are looking for English translations, I would definitely recommend Ralph Russell's translation on Ghalib's Life and Letters. I would also, and Daud Rehebar's edition of translations, that also is very good. A great selection of Ghalib's letters translated into English. My favorite authors, I tend to read quite a bit of history, historical fiction as well. One of the books that had a big impact on me was Orhan Pamuk's Istanbul, and that also it's an amazing from one of the greatest writers of all time again, and it's a lovely look at a city's history through the eyes and through the perspective of a personal biography, a personal autobiography. Child growing up in this very, very historic city, and it's a wonderful book. So offhand, this is what I would recommend to people reading. Do read these books. Thank you.